Joseph Barak, and I'm going to read this to you and show you the pictures. Squanto's Journey. My story is both strange and true. I was born in the year the English call 1590. My family were leaders of the Potuxet people, and I too was raised to lead. But in 1614 I was taken to Spain against my will. Now it is 1621, and I'm again in my homeland. My name is Squanto. I would like to tell you my tale. I look up and watch a heron fly overhead. It goes towards the falls that gave our people their name. We were the Potuxet, the people of the falls. Our cleared fields were not empty of people then, as they were when the English pilgrims landed in the freezing moon of 1620. Only 6 winters have passed, but so many things have changed. I remember that day in 1614. White men had come often to fish in our bay and trade. They had brought us fine things in exchange for beaver and deerskins. This time, when their tall ships with sails like the wings of giant birds anchored off the shore, this time was different. John Smith was one of the English captains. He and his officer Thomas Dermer traded with us. I liked the way Dermer shook my hand. Smith had learned much from dealing with other Indians in the summer land of Virginia. He knew we valued honor. The other captain was Thomas Hunt. After Smith left, Hunt landed at Potuxet. He told us that he was friends with Smith. "Come to my feast on my ship," he said. More than 20 of us went on board to share food with friends. But Hunt was no friend. He set sail, taking us with him as captives. Behind, we left our families, our homes, our people. Our lives were no longer our own. Soon we were crossing the wet, salt waters. The journey was long, but my spirit did not desert me. I remembered I was beneath a man of courage. I told stories to my young people and urged them to stay strong. Hunt took us to Malaga in the land of Spain. There we were sold to be slaves, but men who served the Creator lived near. It was they who called themselves brothers who freed us from our chains. I learned more of their language. I let them teach me about their ways of thanking their great mystery. I told them that I wanted to return home. With the friar's help, I went to England. English ships often sailed towards the sunset. I realized that if I could be of use to England, they might take me with them. Who do you think they refer to? Who are they referring to when they say the Creator or the great mystery? Think about that. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. It took much work, but I learned the language well. In March of the year they called 1619, I sailed back to New England at the side of my friend Thomas Dermer, one of John Smith's officers. Our memories of each other were like the taste of good water. He told me that things were not well between my people of the First Light and the English. Englishmen and their ships were now being attacked when they came to shore. Perhaps if I accompanied them, I could speak with the Indians and they could trade again in peace. My heart felt as if it were soaring on an eagle's wings as the ship cut through the waves, but I also feared what I might find. What is that when my heart felt as if it were soaring on an eagle's wings? Good job, simile, very nice. Remember, if anytime you hear figurative language, let me know, remind me, because I want you guys to hear it and recognize it when you listen to it and when you read it by yourself. Now only this may remain. He folded back all but 2 fingers. It proved, as he said, the sickness had come down upon the Potuxet like the blow of a war club. Only a few people have survived. My wife, my children, my parents, and all the closest to me were gone. I will not say their names now. I will speak them again when my own feet climb the highest mountain, and I will walk the road of stars to greet them. you came home and your whole family had been killed. It must be very upsetting, and that's why you can see in that picture that the drawer illustrated it for him to look very upset. Together, Thomas DeMurr and I did our work. We made friendly contact with the Nemasket and the Pokanoket. More than once, my words saved the life of my English friend. Peace seemed within our reach. But Ipanau, the powerful Sakim of Kapawak, viewed the English as one might a deadly serpent. Ipanau, too, had been taken to England as a slave and brought back to act as a guide. He had escaped and vowed to always fight the white men. The deeds of our Englishmen convinced his people that he was right. In the summer of 1620, as Thomas DeMurr and I talked of peace, an English captain invited a party of Indians on board their ship. Then suddenly the white men shot them down. When we reached the island of Kapawak, Ipanau and his warriors attacked us. Many English were killed. Thomas DeMurr was wounded. With my help, he was able to escape, but I was taken captive and given the Pokanoket as a prisoner. That November, when the Mayflower reached the shore, the Pokanoket watched. They did not come close to the English. If the Pokanoket had been stronger, they may have attacked the white men, wiped them out, or driven them away. But the Pokanoket were still weak from the great sickness, where there had been thousands. Now there were only hundreds. The strength of our people was so small now that the Narragansett to the south, untouched by the plague themselves, ordered the once proud Pokanoket and Nemaskets to play them tribute. I spoke to Masat, the Sakum of the Pokanoket, as a beast should with respect and honor. Befriend the English, I said. Make them come to understand and support our people. Messias did not listen at first. He watched silently through that winter. Then Samoset came to visit. He was a Sachem of Pemaquid people who lived farther up the coast. He had done much trading with the English. He knew some of their language. Let me talk with the Songolamazanak, he said to Messiah, nodding to me as he spoke. Messiah agreed. The next day, March 16th of 1621, Samoset strode into the English settlement. Welcome, English, he said in their tongue. He showed them the two arrows in his hand. One had a flint arrowhead. The other had the arrowhead removed. The arrows symbolized what we offered them, either war or peace. The English placed a coat about his shoulders to warm him. They invited him into their houses. They gave him small water, biscuit, and butter, pudding, and cheese. The food was good, Samoset said to me later, laughing as he spoke. I decided to spend the night. When he left the next day, he promised to return with a friend who spoke their language well. So it was that 5 days later, on the 22nd of March, I walked with Samoset back into my village. Once Patuxent, now it was Plymouth. I looked around me. Though much was changed, I knew that I, at last, had returned to the land of my home. Perhaps these men can share our lands as friends, I told my brother at my side. In the moons that followed, there was much work to do. The Pokanoket freed me to be a guide and interpreter for the English. Not only did I act as ebony between the English and our people, I also had many things to teach the white people about survival. They knew little of hunting and almost nothing of planting. It had also been the job of the Patuxent women to care for the crops while men such as myself hunted. But I had observed much in the years since my captivity. I had seen in Newfoundland how the English learned from our people how to grow corn. Use the small fish that wash up on the shores in great numbers, I told the Englishmen. Bury those fish in the earth and they will feed the corn. I showed them how to plant the seeds of corn and beans and squash together in hills. I told them when it was the moon of hoeing. They listened well and worked hard. I came to see that these pilgrims could be our friends and we theirs. Together we might make our home on this land given to us by the Creator of all things. A good harvest was brought in this fall. Some of their English crops had not done well, but the three sisters, the corn, the beans, and the squash, have done well. As I looked at the beans growing up about the stalks of the corn, I think of how our two people have become intertwined. I felt hope for our children in the seasons to come. With our hope, the English have learned enough of hunting and fishing to provide the food for a great feast, such as this one. This feast for all people. Now as we eat together, I give thanks. I have seen more in my life than most men. Whether Indian or English, I have seen both death and life come to this land, give itself to English and Indian alike. I pray that there will be many more such days to give thanks together in the years that follow. I am Squanto. I am known to all those who gather here. English, Bokanak, Nemask, even a few of my own surviving Paytoks. I speak to you as a Pisnese, a man of honor. I will never leave this land. I give thanks for all of our people to the Creator of all things. Okay, what I want us to do is I want us to write our summary, and then we're going to get together and we're going to discuss the summary orally. So right now what you want to do is just jot down some ideas of the summary. You want to put plot points, different ideas as you read the story, what happened. Okay? And then we're going to discuss them. And we'll write them on the board, and then we'll discuss them some more, and that will give us another good idea of Squanto's journey, as well as Joseph Brock's writing. We are going to be doing 4 groups. 2 groups reading Bear Walker, and 2 groups reading Sacagawea. There's a lot of fun activities that we will be doing with this. It's a good amount of reading, but I think you'll find it interesting. Both books are really good, and they kept my interest the whole time. So I'm excited to read them with you. Okay, go ahead and get started with your points.